Stephanie Burton Patterson, and this is my mom, Ola Warfield Burton. Being raised by a Southern mama left an indelible impression in my life. I came away from that raising with a glossary of Southern sayings and expressions that are the backdrop of my life. When I was acting in a way that my mother didn't approve of, she would say, "I am not raising somebody that I can't stand and can't anyone else stand either." She used to say that one kind of a lot to me. She would be pleased as punch when I did something that she liked. And if she hurt my feelings and I was pouting, she would say, "This time I may have hurt your feelings, but next time I'm gonna hurt you behind." Yeah, I got that one a lot too. I never doubted her love for me or her devotion to me because she would say that I was her favorite oldest daughter. Now, Mama only has 2 daughters and I'm the oldest, but that's how she would put it. It sounded so special. And she affirmed me by telling me that I was the best mama that her grandson could ever have had. And that still encourages me as a mom to this day. But my world was devastated by the loss of her in 2001. It was one of the most traumatic things to this day that I've ever been through. Grief and loss is an untamed, unformulated process, and you don't really know what your process will look like until you're in it. I began mine in a state of numbness and shock. And as that began to wear off, I began to realize that she really was gone. And what was I going to do? Who was I going to talk to? Who was I going to turn to? What would I do? I just wanted to crawl into a pit and not come out. But knowing my mother as well as I did, I knew that family was extremely important to her. Exodus 20:12 says, "Honor your mother and father." She used to say that a lot when she disciplined me. I felt like I was dishonoring her if I just checked out of my life. I had a marriage to maintain and I had a child to raise, so I had to keep going. But how could I find the strength to do these things and deal with my grief at the same time? It just seemed like a daunting task. The volume of my joy was turned down so low that I couldn't barely hear it. My grief drowned it out and it drained all my strength. I needed all the help I could get. So I turned to my faith. 1 Chronicles 16:11 says, "Seek the Lord and his strength. Seek his presence continually." So I made a decision to seek the Lord. Don't get me wrong, I knew the Lord, but I needed him and his strength in a fresh way. I filled my eyes and my ears with the word. I listened to praise and worship music every chance I got. I needed those words of that song, the songs, to bathe me in God's love and in his strength, and to encourage my soul and help me to begin to turn the volume back up on my joy and to help me find my strength. But I didn't stop there. I listened to Bible teachings and I took a couple of Bible studies. During that time, I did a Beth Moore Bible study in which she talked about the prophet Isaiah and King Uzziah and the impact that Uzziah's death had on Isaiah. There was a quote in that study that unexpectedly infused me with fresh strength. And it reads, "In no way do I want to minimize the pain and tremendous challenge of losing a very important hero figure. The experience can seem earth-shattering. And if we are loyal enough to the old, it can leave us bitter toward the new." Isaiah's calling came, not coincidentally, right after the death of King Uzziah. So the moment I read that section, I could see myself in Isaiah's role and my mom in King Uzziah's role because she was my hero and I had lost her. And the words, "If we are loyal enough to the old, it can leave us bitter toward the new," stuck with me. And life without my mom was new. I had a friend of the family who was an amputee and he had lost his leg. And he used to tell me that he would get phantom limb syndrome and he would tell me about having to learn how to do things differently. And he would tell me that sometimes that limb, with that phantom limb syndrome, that limb would itch and it would ache even though it wasn't there anymore. But he learned to live without it. And I thought about that when my mom passed away. And it's sort of like that for me, like having a piece of me missing, that I've had to figure out how to live my life without her, and it is different. But as Beth Moore said, if we are loyal enough to the old, it can leave us bitter toward the new. And I had a whole life ahead of me to live. I felt like he was saying to me, that God was saying to me through Beth Moore's words, that I see you, I love you. Feel that, accept that. I'm not going to leave you. I'm here right with you through this. You can have joy, and my joy is where you find your strength. I learned that King Uzziah's name literally means the Lord is my strength. Isaiah 6:1 says, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord, high and exalted, seated on a throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Well, in the year that my mom died, I saw the Lord, and I saw him in a way that I never had before. From him, I gleaned fresh strength to go on and live my life in a way that I know my mother would be proud of, and in a way that God is proud of. So I encourage you, if something has happened in your life that has caused you to lose your joy and your strength, something that has grieved your heart, you can get your joy back. It will take time. It will take even practice, and even takes a decision, just making the decision not to be sucked under and to learn to live without that limb, whatever that is, whether it is a marriage, whether it is the loss of a loved one. You can go on. It is possible. Nehemiah 8:10 says, don't be dejected and sad, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. Okay, thank you everyone for listening. God bless you.